What's up guys, Gabriel Varga here. I want to talk about the UFC over the past weekend and some of the crazy knockouts that came just like that in the first round. I want to dive into this topic because recently I was doing a virtual private with somebody and they were asking me what is my mindset, my mentality in the first 30 seconds of the fight. So I want to share that with you guys, let you know how I enter the fight, what my goal is within the first 30 seconds, how I try to avoid damage, and most importantly, teach you guys how to not get KO'd early in the fight while not running, while still engaging with your opponent. And that is what this episode is all about. Alright guys, I want to start this episode off talking about if you are the more skilled fighter, which I often think of myself as. Usually when I'm going up against my opponent, I go, I have more experience, I have more technique, I believe just have an overall greater skill level. So if you believe you're one of those fighters, you have a high skill in martial arts, you think that, okay, you know, I'm pretty darn good technically, and the way I'm going to win this fight is by being technical, by outpointing this guy or outthinking him or something in that mindset. I mean, I've always prided myself on having awesome cardio, but I don't really think of that when we go into the fight initially because the cardio doesn't matter in the first round. But when we start thinking about winning the fight based on technique or skill, it definitely doesn't play into a factor in the first 20-30 seconds. Because when you run out and you just bang it with somebody right away, you've had no time to collect data on them, to assess them. So generally what I like to do when I come out and I meet my opponent, you know, I'm back here, I move forward, whether we touch gloves or not, right away, if I do engage, it's very defensive because what I'm trying to assess right away, the first time he throws a shot, he throws it, I block, I go, okay, let's decide what kind of power this guy has right away. If he throws a bomb at me and I go, oh, okay, the power's not that bad, I don't have to worry about it. I throw in a couple light shots, a couple shots maybe with a low kick or something, and I see how he deals with it. If he deals simply by blocking and that's it, I know, okay, I can actually throw some combos at this guy with less chance of getting countered. But if I come out and I go tap, tap, and right away he's swinging back at me, I go, this is a counter fighter. I need to be careful. I need to set my shots up a little bit better than I might if he's not a counter fighter, and I can just get away with those nice combos without paying a price for throwing them. So what I really don't like seeing, and it really bugs me sometimes, is when I see high-level fighters and they come out and the fight ends in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and right away I'm going, were you so unconfident in yourself that you didn't want to take 20 or 30 seconds to check this guy out and try and beat him technically, gather data, or do you just think you're that strong and that powerful that you can come out and KO him? And something that's always stuck with me, my dad told me years ago, he said, if you come out, even if your skill level is better, if you come out and you brawl right away with your opponent, who's to say he doesn't KO you? Because you don't have time to really put your full skills on display and utilize them. So when we come running out right away, the fight, in his opinion, and mine now, is really 50-50. I mean, imagine if somebody like Floyd Mayweather ran right out against somebody else and he just went, okay, we're just gonna brawl. We're gonna throw down here as hard as we can. Is that a smart move for Mayweather? Is it a smart move for Petrosian? Would Petrosian run out and bang with somebody? All the best fighters in the world use a lot of times the first round, if it's boxing, maybe the first half a round for MMA. Kickboxing, you get a little less. That's why I only try to utilize 30 seconds to assess data, to collect it on your opponent so you have a better idea of what you're dealing with. Now, I think a lot of times the mindset behind like running out and bombing in a punch is I'm going to scare him, I'm going to make him timid, I'm going to put some fear into his head right away by hitting him with a big shot. But unfortunately what happened for Gavin Tucker at UFC this weekend, I really like the guy, Canadian, I've actually met him, did a private with him one time just to help him out on his striking, and he is a skilled individual. So for him to run out in the first 20 seconds and bomb a punch in, as soon as you throw here, if you don't duck your head down to the side, the risk is exactly what happened. You throw a punch, head up, the other guy slips down to the side and throws the counter shot, and all of a sudden, boom, you get landed on with those tiny little MMA gloves, the fight's done. And who knows, maybe Gavin has a higher skill level than the dude he was up against, and he could have won the fight cleanly if it had just gone on further, if he's gone outside of that first 20-30 seconds and started going, okay, this is what the guy's good at, this is what he's bad at, this is where he's open, this is where I need to be defensive. So my advice to everybody out there, like I said earlier in the episode, is not to come out, touch gloves, and spend the whole time running. Oh gosh, he's coming for me, I'm running, because right away you're gonna give the guy confidence and you're not really getting too much information. You're just basically just doing the rope-a-dope thing. It's too early in the fight for that. But what you can do is you can come out, as I often do when it's the first 30 seconds of my fight, I come out with my hands so high. Right here, if I throw a shot and my jab, I'm making sure this shoulder is really high, making sure this hand's tight here. If I throw a low kick, my hands are in position. I'm never putting myself in that position where the kick can come and I can get countered. Because again, I haven't really had time to decide what this guy's fortes are. Even though I've studied him the whole camp and I've prepared for him, I still don't really know everything about him. But you can learn a lot in the first 30 seconds. So my advice to everybody out there who's thinking of fighting, you're like, oh, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna give this guy a big shot, we're gonna end it super fast, or I'm gonna hit him hard, I'm gonna scare him. If you are gonna do that, be extra cautious about defense. You can be defensive as you're being offensive. So if I'm like, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna throw a couple jabs, feel him out, and then bomb a big punch in, don't do it like this. Do it with the shoulder cranked high, this hand cranked high, the chin tucked, everything here with the head dropped, and then you take the risk of getting hit and knocked out up from maybe like 50% if he throws a shot to like almost 0% because everything's tucked in. You're being smart. And then if you decide, oh, he's not throwing back, then next time you might come in, be a little less cautious. And then maybe later on in the fight, you're just bombing with your chin up because you're just going, this guy has nothing for me and I'm so dominant. But in the first 30 seconds, I'm gonna maintain the belief for the whole of my career and after I'm done, that if you run out with somebody in the first 30 seconds without gathering any information, any intel on them, it is a 50-50 fight. And if you are a more skilled fighter, you know you have technique, you know you have patience, you know you have good eyesight. Why would you want to come out and make the fight 50-50? Give it a minute, give it 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden, the fight's not 50-50 anymore, maybe it's 60-40. It goes on a little further, maybe it's like 70-30. And further into the fight you go, the more chance you have of winning. This is just my suggestion to you guys. This is how I avoid early round knockouts, how I would suggest you guys staying safe and avoiding getting KO'd in the first 10, 20, 30 seconds. Guys, if you enjoyed the advice, give the video a like. If you haven't, get subscribed. As always, guys, train hard, and I'll see you back here soon for another video.